Raw starts off with Seth Rollins immediately attacking Bronson Reed. They end up going, well, not really going back and forth, but Seth Rollins ends up attacking Bronson Reed. He ends up going straight to the ring, calls out Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed comes out, a bunch of security is right behind him. Then Seth Rollins ends up attacking Bronson Reed with a suicide dive, but Bronson Reed ends up getting the upper hand. They go back and forth, but Bronson Reed is mainly getting the upper hand. Security is surrounded by all of them. Then we get to a spot where Bronson Reed is going. He's towards the barricade area. Seth Rollins is on the announcer table. He jumps off the barricade onto the announcer table, but he ends up missing Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins ends up moving out the way. He ends up breaking the table. But then after that, security ends up coming through and end up breaking him away, breaking him apart, ends up stopping it. This is great. This is really good. I'm enjoying their feud. The match is confirmed at Crown Jewel, which I can't wait. They made it official. They end up at this feud has been really good. They've been constantly attacking each other. They attacked each other like 4 times in this episode of Monday Night Raw, which was also really good. This is giving me similar vibes, not the exact same, but it's giving me similar vibes to Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, which was a great feud. So I love what they've been doing here. This is great. Hopefully during their match, whoever wins, they book it in a way where both guys, well, we already know Seth Rollins is going to look strong. Hopefully Bronson Reed, depending on if he loses the match or wins, we don't know. But hopefully he's booked well where he doesn't look weak. In this situation, he didn't look weak. Hopefully they do the same in the match when at Crown Jewel. Now we end up getting a segment between Liv Morgan, Raquel, and Damage Control. Oh my god. This was one of the most cringiest things I have seen in a while. Like, man, this segment was so cool. This segment was so cringe. Like, it was ridiculous. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but man, this segment was so bad. Having these 4 women in the same segment should never happen again. To be fair, part of it was the booking, but the other part is just that you have 4 women who aren't naturally gifted talkers. So you're putting 4 women who are not that good at talking in the same, like, this was just bad. This was bad. This segment ended up setting up a match they're going to have later in the show because Liv interrupted Damage Control's interview. But yeah, this segment was bad. It was very cringe watching this. Next, we end up getting one of the number 1 contendership match. They did the same thing on SmackDown. They're doing it on Raw. First tag match between New Day versus Authors of Pain. During the match, The Miz was also watching the match. He was watching it with Karrion Kross. R-Truth ends up coming out and ends up attacking The Miz. He also attacked Karrion Kross as well. This distracted Razar or Akam. I forgot which one, but he distracted one of the Authors of Pain, which allowed Kofi Kingston to end up taking the victory. After the match, though, R-Truth was celebrating with Kofi and them. Then after Kofi, Kingston, and Xavier Woods left, Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain and The Miz ends up attacking R-Truth. Kofi Kingston wants to save R-Truth, but Xavier Woods doesn't. He's constantly pulling him away. Authors of Pain and the Final Testament are constantly attacking R-Truth. But then the Wyatt Six ends up appearing. They end up making their appearance, and they end up attacking everyone. They end up attacking the Authors of Pain. They attacked Karrion Kross, Scarlett. They attacked all of them, but The Miz. The Miz was just lying there, he had his head like on his shoulders, like he was like in like he was in a hurricane drill, like he was just But I think eventually he did end up getting up, but then Uncle Howdy ended up appearing behind him. It looked like he was about to attack, but I think Paul Ellering ended up making a save, ends up protecting The Miz. I enjoyed this a lot. So it looks like they are after The Miz. They just didn't get the chance to attack him, or they could not be after The Miz. That's still a question, but overall, I enjoy this. I can't wait to see how this plays out. If they are after The Miz, my wild prediction is that The Miz is going to turn babyface soon after the feud. He's just going to be a short-time heel. That's my prediction, but I'm not really sure. I also like that they're still continuing to carry the Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston feud. That was nice as well. Now we end up getting a quick segment with Raquel Rodriguez. I don't know why I can't pronounce her last name. I always struggle with that. But with Raquel, I'm going to be honest here. I think Raquel should speak more. I know a lot of fans say that she can't talk or she shouldn't speak as much, but for me personally, this whole silent bodyguard thing she's doing, it's just not working. It's not. For me, it just don't come off believable. And typically when you do that whole silent bodyguard thing, it only works when one, the person looks somewhat intimidating, and two, if they're actually somewhat dominant. The problem with Raquel is that she's not that dominant, and she, for me personally, she doesn't look that intimidating. She has the height factor, but everything else she doesn't really have for me. Like someone like Rhea Ripley, if she was playing a silent character, I feel like it works because she looks somewhat intimidating. Another example would be like Marina. Even though Marina is smaller than Raquel, I feel more intimidated by Marina Shirakawa, not Marina Shirakawa, Marina from AEW in the John Moxley faction than I do Raquel Rodriguez. That's just me. That's just me. Maybe I'm tripping, but I prefer her speaking more than her being this silent person. That's just me. Now, after this, we end up getting the tag team match between Damage Control, Liv Morgan, and Raquel. During the match ends up getting a disqualification because Io Sky ended up doing typical babyface things, ended up attacking someone for payback, which was Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. She attacks them, which allowed Lash Legend to attack Io, causing the disqualification. But Metaphor ended up taking out Damage Control, which was very shocking because Damage Control typically don't get taken out easily, but Damage Control was able to get taken out by Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, which was very surprising. After they took out Damage Control, Liv Morgan and Raquel ends up, approaching them. But then that's when Rhea Ripley theme music hits. And Rhea Ripley ends up taking out Liv Morgan and Raquel. She ends up taking them both out. And then there was a moment where Dominic Mysterio comes in for the save, but she ends up putting him in a submission hold, but they end up making the save on him. Okay. I'm going to be honest here. I've been trying to tell fans for a while that this feud should have ended at Bad Blood. Now everyone's hopping on the train and everyone's saying that they want this feud to end. I've been saying I wanted this feud to end because I knew how this story was going to go, which was Rhea Ripley being the most dominant person and then Liv Morgan not being able to get the upper hand on her. I knew how this story was going to end. And look, I love Rhea Ripley, but she's not really annoying me, but she's starting to get there. She's giving me that Bianca Belair vibes when she was champion last year. She's starting to give me a bit of those vibes. And it's not her fault. It's just Triple H booking is just weird, especially with this Raquel thing, because they're going to push this to Mania. But if you're going to push this to Mania, you have to give her more adversity. You can't make it this easy. Like with Cody Rhodes, for example. Cody Rhodes was overpowered, but at least when he didn't have interactions with Roman that consistently. So it made it interesting for him to go all the way to Mania to face Roman. Plus, he had to go through the Rumble. He had to face countless opponents like Brock Lesnar, etc. With Rhea, she doesn't have that. So it's like, it's not that entertaining, especially when she's dominating the person that she's going to eventually beat. And then you gave her Raquel, who's supposed to be this new bodyguard, but she's getting rid of her easily as well. It's kind of like the same thing they did with Solo, where Solo was the enforcer, but then he kept getting beat up every single week. Now they're doing the same thing with Raquel, where she's supposed to be an enforcer, but she's not enforcing anything. It just doesn't make sense. And then they're doing this they're doing this weird, like, they're trying to recreate the whole Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash thing, which I understand, but not fans, but bookers need to understand. That only works, partially that worked because it was back in the day, but also it was Shawn Michaels. That only works when you have someone that's charismatic. If you don't have the main guy be charismatic, it doesn't work. They're doing the same thing in AEW with Mercedes and Camille. It doesn't work that well because Mercedes Moné is not the most charismatic person. Same thing with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is not the most charismatic person, so it doesn't work. But they need to have Rhea Ripley be booked similar to how Seth Rollins is booked right now with Bronson Reed. Just have them brawl. It's not that hard. Just have them have a little back and forth brawl and then have security break it up. It's not that hard. Am I tripping? Am I being delusional? Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just feel like that's all you need to do is just have them be booked like they were with Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, or how they're doing with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, where they both get booked strong. Just have security break it up. That's all you have to do. Like, I understand you want to make her look weak, but like, this is kind of extreme if I'm being honest, especially you want to hold this out to Mania. But you guys let me know your opinions down below. Now we end up getting the next number one contendership match, LWO versus the Creed Brothers. LWO ends up picking up the victory. Not going to speech up on it. I will say this. I want the LWO to actually beat the Judgment Day. I actually want them to beat the Judgment Day. I think they are the perfect tag team to root for, the perfect babyface team. You have Rey Mysterio, you have the upcoming guy in Dragon Lee that they're going to build after Rey Mysterio, of course, retires. I think they're perfect for the tag team division. You know, they're going to put on banger matches, very exciting, very fast paced. I think they're great. And plus, LWO has always been feuding with the Judgment Day. It'll be great that Rey Mysterio ends up taking the titles off the Judgment Day. I think it's perfect. Plus, the Judgment Day don't need it. It doesn't really elevate them. They don't need the titles. They're not doing anything with them. I think it's time for the Judgment Day to lose the titles. Give it to LWO. Now we end up getting a Damian Priest and Gunther segment. Basically, not Gunther. Damian Priest is coming for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm ready for it. Even though Gunther is going to win, I can't wait for that match. Now, it was a segment where the Judgment Day, Finn Balor was still talking about Damian Priest and talk about how he doesn't want him to win the World Heavyweight Championship. I pray to God that they do not have Finn Balor cost Damian Priest the match. Now, to be fair, I don't think this match is going to happen anytime soon due to Crown Jewel, but I could be wrong. But please do not revert back to Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Please no. I understand they're not doing anything with Damian Priest right now, but do we really need this feud? I feel like the feud isn't that entertaining. I feel like it worn off. Like, we don't need it anymore. Just let it go. Just let it go and just move on. But I can't wait for this match to happen. Now we end up getting the main event. And every Jey Uso fanboy worst nightmare came true. The Bloodline did come out. They did cost him the match. And Braun Breaker did end up winning the IC title. I know a lot of Jey Uso fanboys are upset, but Jey fans need to understand that you guys just need to be happy. Just be happy that he won the title. Some of our favorite wrestlers can never even win a singles title, let alone the IC championship or whatever. So just be happy that he won it, okay? Plus, the plan was always for Braun Breaker to win the IC championship to go on a long reign. They gave him the belt to, one, either to shut up fans, or two, give him that moment so he can at least tell the Bloodline that he won it. Even though he lost, they could just say he won it. Plus, they protect him in the process, so it's all good. I understand being upset, but you got to understand the bigger picture. Yes, they could have had him kept the title and join the Bloodline, but to be fair, the whole plan was to always have Braun be the champion anyway, so that's why they did it. This was a great match, but the Bloodline did interfere. This was great. Overall, this was a great episode of SmackDown. You guys let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.